Cawker City is located on US 24 on the western edge of Mitchell County, Kansas. The town was founded in 1871 by Colonel E. Harrison Cawker and three other investors from Milwaukee, Wisconsin and Towanda, Pennsylvania. Being that there is only one Cawker City in the entire world, most people claim to have never heard of it before. But just mention the world's largest ball of twine, they immediately recognize the offbeat roadside attraction. Recently, the Hesperian Historical Society completed the restoration of the 1884 public library building as the Cawker City Museum. Listed on the National Register of Historic Places, this limestone building is a Victorian gem both inside and out. The lawn of the museum has been designed as a butterfly sanctuary and also features 12 memorial rose bushes. This museum project was such a success that others in town have begun restoration of several other older buildings. This 1921 Kansas-Texas Oil Company filling station has been converted into overnight lodging. Just across the street from the new Dollar General on the western edge of town, this 1934 C&O filling station is also being converted into lodging. Our new photographer has renovated this 1885 limestone building for his studio. And these two 1904 brick buildings will soon be home to a new antique shop. In light of all this new work on our main street, the Hesperian Historical Society has seized the opportunity to do something positive with the old Ledger building. The museum is in need of additional display space to highlight the architectural heritage of our town, tell the history of the ball of twine, and to demonstrate the printing process before the age of electricity. We would also like to have a screen and small stage area where we could show some of Claire Windsor's silent films. A museum bookstore and soda fountain would help provide a little income for our museum and entice the Ball of Twine visitors to linger a little longer in town. The building itself has quite an interesting history. It was built by H.P. Churchill and G.W. Matthews and was originally known as the Churchill and Matthews Block. Work began in February of 1879, and by the end of March, the two-story frame building was painted and nearing completion. It had 2 storerooms on the ground level and 4 two-room office suites above. There were also 2 rental rooms in the basement, which were accessed under the boardwalk in front of the building. A large stone firewall constituted the east side of the building, which was made fun of by many passers-by. However, in the wee hours of April 1st, 1879, Michael Macaulay was lodging with others in Johnson's restaurant when he fell asleep while smoking his pipe. When the pipe slipped from his hand, it landed on the bedding where it began to smolder. Suddenly, without warning, the bedding burst into flames and soon engulfed the entire room. As flames lit up the night sky, the alarm of fire was sounded. But before the bucket brigades could be organized, the dancing flames engulfed Aaron Smith's bakery and his restaurant. Within minutes, the whipping winds spread the fire to Moulton's drugstore, the harness shop of Green and John, and finally to the New York store, which adjoined Churchill and Matthews' large frame building. There, the flames were finally held in check by the firewall. Still, the flames leaped around the wall, and part of the roof burned away, and areas of the back wall caught fire, but the building withstood the flames. Within 20 minutes, 6 business houses lay in total ruin. In the aftermath of the devastating destruction, the city officials passed a new ordinance creating a fire zone and stipulated that all new construction within the zone must be of stone. 6 weeks later, the first passenger train arrived in Cawker City, and the town was bustling with construction and newcomers. Over the last 139 years, this remarkable survivor has been home to many businesses. Most notably, Jacob Rothschild first opened the doors of his clothing establishment in this building and began a 59-year association with Cawker City. George Lutz, who celebrated over 60 years of marriage to his wife Anna in Cawker and raised a family of 13, had his harness shop in this building. In 1907, A.L. Hagedorn added a baking room to the rear, and 4 years later, Valentine Malik purchased it and established his bakery and restaurant. Before being turned into living quarters, the upstairs suite of offices were home to numerous lawyers, dentists, as well as real estate, loan, and insurance agents. The basement was home to several barbers and was a gathering place for the men in town. Major changes to the structure came in 1922 when the Knights of Columbus bought the building. A new concrete sidewalk replaced the last remaining boardwalk in town, and the wooden columns of the facade were replaced with brick pillars. The partitions in the west room upstairs were removed and created one large pool hall and club room. New tin ceilings were added upstairs and down. Fast forward to 1957, when Warren Ling purchased the building and moved the Ledger newspaper into it. It is from this long-time association with the newspaper that the building has acquired its present name. Along with the newspaper, Ledger Litho became widely known in the 1960s for the numerous band posters printed on their offset presses. The Blue Things and the Flippers being some of the most memorable ones. When Mr. Ling retired, the Ledger newspaper and building were sold to the Downs News and Times, which continue to publish the newspaper to this day. However, the building in Cawker became unnecessary, and efforts to find someone interested in buying it did not materialize, so the building was deeded to the city. With the success of our restoration of the historic public library building as our city museum, the Cawker City Hesperian Historical Society has decided to take on the restoration of the Ledger building as our next project. We have received a gracious donation from the daughter of Valentine Malik to use as seed money for the project. We intend to use this designated donation judiciously to purchase the physical material we need for the project, and we will use volunteer labor to help keep costs down. But to execute our plan, we are in need of more scaffolding. This is where you can help. We need to purchase 12 more scaffolding frames and 28 cross braces from the A1 Scaffolding Manufacturing Company of Hays, Kansas, to match what we already have. Just think, your donated dollars will help us, our community, and will stay right here in Kansas after our purchase.